Just for today. Today we're talking about the best of LinkedIn with a whole bunch of your friends and our friends. If they're not your friends, they should be your friends.
They should be.
They will be your friends after this episode.
Without a doubt, you should be following, checking out, listening to their content, watching their content. So I'm excited about this show because commenting on this stuff is it's the way to be. So.
It also highlights real conversations. Sometimes in the news, you get just like standard conversation or just top level topics. We're going to dig in. We're digging into some things that we find interesting, some of the best comments and discussions going on, in our opinion. And let's just face it, automotive news right now, not the organization we love. The news in the automotive industry.
Yeah, there you go.
Just, I mean, it's hard.
It's August. Auto dealers are just selling cars.
God bless the team at Automotive News that has to find the news to talk about. We just get to ride on their coattails every morning and be like, what's there? What's in Wall Street Journal? What's in Reuters? The people who actually have reporters.
That's right. That's right. Hey, speaking of a bunch of content, we have a couple content pieces that you should check out. One, we have a new Auto Collabs episode out with Greg Uland. We're talking about the upcoming Amplify Retail Summit that is happening in just a couple weeks. Paul and I will be there.
We're going to be there.
We got to talk to him about exactly what they're going to be exposing. It's the second year of this event. Greg is always fantastic to be on. It's not just about the event. He talks about some other things that are going on in the industry. Always a great, insightful conversation. So check it out. Search it anywhere you can find podcasts called Auto Collabs. Also, we had a webinar yesterday that
it was awesome.
Man, absolutely insane. You can go to our website, still check it out. Or head over to LinkedIn, to our events tab on LinkedIn and check out the webinar. But we were talking about the CARS rule, and there were a ton of questions, comments, back and forth.
Laughs.
Jim laid it out. There were laughs. He landed the plane like so eloquently, like he had done it a billion times before. So
I mean, what do you expect from a man in a red bow tie?
Just unbelievable.
I mean,
you and I could. I don't know if I could pull off a red bow tie.
I definitely could not. I definitely could not. I'd look like a circus clown. I would. I totally would. All right.
Picturing you with a red button nose as well at the same time.
Exactly. That's how I would feel. Just doesn't fit. You gotta be to thine own self. Be true.
There you go.
It's not me, but Jim Ganther rocks it like a boss. I'll tell you that.
Like a boss.
All right, let's get into it. So today we're going to give you a little overview of some of the things we've seen. Some things as early as like 30 minutes ago on LinkedIn, and then some were posted earlier this week. First and foremost, we want to shout out Steve Greenfield with this post this morning.
This dude.
It was a picture. Here it is, a picture of his boarding pass, and the boarding time, if you're not watching, you're listening to, so it is, as you would expect, a Diamond Medallion Elite Plus. I don't know what the plus is, but boarding pass, and it is from Detroit to Atlanta with a boarding time of 4:40 a.m. this morning, and the copy reads, "The magic of the early morning flight. Thank you, Delta Airlines, for getting me home before the workday begins."
That's hardcore. This is a man after my own heart. You know, I love the early morning flight. It's like get up, get there, have a day, right? But 4:40 a.m. Whew, that's hot.
Well, that's 4:40 boarding time, which means you're at the airport at 4, which means you are up at 3. I mean, like,
oh yeah,
why go to bed at that
why
point?
Even go to bed?
It feels like one day. Next up, what's this next one? Alex, Lawrence, and George Saliba. Again, Kyle, intro this one.
This is so it's a video, and you're gonna want to go to Alex Lawrence's LinkedIn profile. He's incredible on LinkedIn. If you don't follow Alex, he is the owner of EV Auto out west, a solely EV dealership, used car dealership. But he goes and hangs out with George Saliba, which George kind of became famous more on TikTok, and also is of recent fame, kind of the guy that gave the Fisker to Marques Brownlee.
Mm-hmm.
So they're having this conversation, and what struck me, and actually the reason why I got kind of interested in it, is Steve, and I can't pronounce his last names because Gowski, was commenting on it, saying, kind of the read in between the lines here of what is happening in EVs is that these things aren't just like another vehicle. They're actually kind of a prize, right? And the whole conversation like if you read in between the lines, you recognize that these are all every EV that these guys have has a little like unique personality or a buyer persona that would be interested in the particular vehicle, whether it's wrapped or whether it has a certain technology or has a certain trim level. They're all these almost one of ones, even though they're not one of ones.
Interesting.
But they consider them in the retail environment one of one. Right.
They're like, let's find the unique person for this car in a different way that you think that about an ICE vehicle.
Really interesting.
Very cool. And we, just so you know, if you're just listening or you're watching, we link all of these up in our show notes so you can go back, look at the post, give them some love, follow them, connect with them. We said they should be your friends, and they should. Make a comment, heckle them, whatever you want to do. It's the internet. You can do what you want. All right, next up, our friends at the West Herr Auto Group. We were there about a year ago filming episode 3 of the More Than Cars docu-series, where we were at this gigantic carnival that they put on for their team, and we were there with the thousands of team members there, and you can go back and watch that at morethancars.tv. But over the weekend, they posted about a private concert. So every year they do something different. Yes, that is Carrie Underwood on the stage.
Wow.
They also had Josh Allen, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, throwing footballs out to the team. They had 15,000. So all of their team members got to invite a few friends, and they had a private concert with 15,000 people, brought in Carrie Underwood, the full band, all the stuff. And they're definitely an organization that really does go above and beyond for their team. And Scott Beeler, the owner, says, this is like Christmas. He's like, it's my favorite day of the year. When we interviewed him. So go check out the post, or you can go to morethancars.tv and watch episode 3, West Herr. You will see the carnival last year in full effect as I tried to beat little kids in carnival games and lost.
Look, I don't think there's many reasons why most people want to move to Buffalo after seeing all the snowstorms that they've had, but working for West Herr certainly could be
definitely one of those.
Reason.
And the wings and that breakfast place you and I ate at.
Ooh, that breakfast place. Come on now.
It's definitely top 3 of all time.
Yep.
Top. What's next? Oh, this one caught some fire.
This got chippy.
Some heat. So you can do it. I'll do it.
Oh, I got it. Okay, so in response to Netflix new series Tires, if you haven't seen it, it's a little bit crass. Ryan Rohrman, CEO of Rohrman Automotive Group, addressed the outdated stereotypes it perpetuates about car dealerships and auto shops, saying, and in his words, this portrayal is not only inaccurate, but also fails to acknowledge the significant strides we've made in recent years. The show is all about a family-owned auto shop with a whole bunch of cliches around upselling, unprofessional behavior, creating uncomfortable environments for customers, and even auditors and different things like that. Rohrman said, the reality is far different today. Our industry now features state-of-the-art facilities, cutting-edge innovations, and a customer-first experience that prioritizes comfort and transparency. Their dealerships have things like golf simulators, workout areas, movie theaters, children's indoor playgrounds. He said, as CEO, my mission is to build on our 60-year legacy while reimagining the experience for our employees and customers alike.
Hey, like that order.
We're creating a culture that is supportive, inclusive, and innovative. So, yeah, I mean,
and then the comments began.
Oh,
right?
They lit up. It was
some people were like, you know, the industry's earned it, and this post was actually included a print article that went out in an Indiana newspaper, and then you have, you know, auto staples like Alex Vetter, CEO of Cars, jumping in and saying, like, this is kind of a mic drop. He's like, 10 million reviews a year and less than 1% of them are negative.
Come on.
Who's going to argue with that, right? What other business are you going to say less than 1% negative reviews and be like, wow, we're really destroying this place? So, look, kudos to Ryan for just continually talking about the good things that are happening inside dealerships every day, the truth that is happening inside dealerships every day, the leadership that's happening, the vision and focus. Like, what other companies do you hear talking about building a 50-year legacy?
Yeah, I follow another one of his like younger employees on LinkedIn. They just graduated a class of like young leaders that are looking to become managers in the future, of like 20 people that went through an entire training mechanism for young leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not This is not your grandparents' car dealership.
No, it is not.
This is not the way it, quote unquote, used to be.
So check out that post. Go in, get in the comments, look at some of the negative stuff, and understand. I think like it's easy to like have this come back across as like we're very defensive. Not being defensive. Go read the comments, because how someone feels is actually their reality. So
that's right.
Listen to the people and what they're saying about like the pushback they're giving to the good story. And that's all based in experience. So I feel like there's a segue. Speaking of how people feel and experience.
Segue.
Segue. And I can only do that because the next one is my post. All right. So I posted yesterday an experience that I had at the Apple store last weekend. And where I went in to my 12-year-old daughter had been saving her money. She wanted to buy an iPhone. So we're like, okay, she wanted to go to the store and look at all the colors. Typically, I'd stay away from the store, just order it online and be done with it. Got to the store, had a bit of an experience. We're going to play the video and then I'll unpack it a little bit more. And also, I caught a little heat in the comments for this one. So go ahead. Let's play the video. So we're here at the Apple store. We're buying a phone. We've been here at the table for how long now? 20 minutes at least, since we've told them we want to just buy a phone. We know what we want. We know the model. We know all that stuff. And you just said what? It's like... This is my wife. It's like...
Buying a car.
It's the first time she compared buying a phone at the Apple store, which everybody always says is the amazing experience. She's like, this feels like buying a car because it's taking forever. How about that? That's an ouch on a lot of levels for me.
That's a whole other thing. Yeah, because it's also a dig at like the comparison is the automotive retail experience.
Yes. And so like I will say, and like I wrote a kind of extensive copy on this post because I wanted to make sure like why I was even posting this and like what my takeaways for and what I think we can learn. My wife has not, and in this I explained, like my wife's only car buying experience was like 15 years ago, right? Yeah. Like before any of this existed. But like she understands, she knows so many dealers now. And she knows how they care about people, but she still never had an experience. And she associates just this endless waiting, right? Or seemingly endless waiting with buying a car. So I'm at this place and we walked in, the greeter greets us. We said, we're looking at the phones, table right there in the front. There's one employee there serving like 3 people. It was a Saturday morning, 10 o'clock, mall just open. It was definitely not like super crowded, but it had a crowd in there. And we knew what we wanted. We told them we knew what we wanted, ready to buy a phone. Literally, it was like 20 or 30 minutes. We're just standing there and we got our 4-year-old. And then, so I made this video. I was like, okay, this will be a good like thing to talk about because we're always thinking about that. Make a video. The greeter walks over to me with not a happy face on. And he's like, what was that video you were just making? Like, it was like confrontational. I was like so taken aback because you know me, I hate confrontation to begin with. But at the same time, I was like, well, I do a lot in retail, talk about the retail experience. So he's like, you really shouldn't do that. You really shouldn't do that. We told you we would be with you, right? He's like, I can get my manager to come over and talk to you. I was like, that would be great.
Whoa.
I was like, I know. I was like, well, for me, I was like, that would be great. Send him over, right?
Let's go.
I would love to talk to your manager, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then the person working at the table actually left the 3 customers he was working with, came over to me and said, it really doesn't make us feel good when you do stuff like that. And then went back to help the 3 customers. I was like, what is going on right now?
What?
And now my daughter's like watching this go on. She's like, what's wrong?
What is happening?
And so I'll end the story here, but eventually we were helped. The guy who came over and said, it doesn't make us feel real good. Like we ended up having an awesome time with him. He was fantastic. He's been there for 9 years, right? He was obviously overwhelmed. They were understaffed. The manager never came over, by the way. I went back and asked. And so it just highlighted the fact that like even Apple gets it wrong because retail is really hard.
It is really hard.
And it's
understaffed right now, just in general.
Absolutely. I think the big learning is, and this is in dealership, non-dealership, any retail, the way your team reacts is make or break.
That's it.
They really like all that greeter had to do was come over and say, hey, I know this is taking so long. I'm so sorry. Right. But we're a little understaffed, but we're going to give you, and when we get to you, like you're going to get the royal treatment. Done. Over.
Done. You'd have been great. Yep. Exactly.
No post. Nothing to talk about today.
Nothing to talk about if they'd have done that. Speaking of things of talking about.
Stop. Segue.
Time. Ben's been talking a lot. We've had Ben Hadley on the show quite often, but recently he's dropped a couple videos. You're going to want to check out his LinkedIn. One recent one that he dropped is talking about the power of brand and how it shouldn't be overlooked, saying that in this world of data And the emphasis on data and tracking, even Google Analytics and similar tools, can never measure the intangible factors like love and feelings and adherence or attachment to one's brand. He argues that there's a risk in actually prioritizing short-term ROI over long-term brand loyalty. We've maybe heard that before. Attracting impulsive buyers through targeted ads might yield quick sales, but can result in dissatisfied customers and harm the brand's reputation in the long run. He actually kind of took it all the way to TV campaigns, saying despite their high costs, could positively influence brands' perception because it starts to signal to customers that effort, finances have been put into this broader campaign that has a little bit more of like a brand level perception. So interesting kind of like, especially Ben being such a data geek and data guy, going, hey, look, the data might not be all it's cracked up to be because it's very fleeting and short term. It doesn't have a lot of lifetime value or brand built in.
Yeah. And so listen, Ben Hadley's, he also released another post this morning that was, he's just in the zone right now. He's just in the zone. I think all of this, the reason we're highlighting this stuff, hopefully, is that you connect with some people who are thinking critically about things. And you may agree, you may disagree, right? In my comments, there are a lot of people that disagree. They're like, why would you wait in the store for a phone? I wouldn't put my family in that. There's all kinds of fun stuff in there to talk about. The beauty of that, and I love those conversations because no two people think the same way. No two people perceive things the same way. And the perception is actually the reality. So your customers that are coming in every day, they have a perception that's their reality. The more you understand about how people think, the better your systems, the better your training, the better your people, the better you can love people more than you love cars. And I think when that happens, the better off we will all be. We'll see you here tomorrow.